wait. I just thought something. Right. If we are going to talk about Elden Ring DLC, we can't do any spoilers.
No.
That's the thing. It's too close to, so we can't really have a big conversation about it.
No, we can't.
Because it's too close. I don't want to spoil it. So anybody, we're not going to spoil anything just before we get straight stuck in. Because I got one thing spoiled for me, and I was so annoyed. But it wasn't anything major, but it still really annoyed me. So I was like, man, Simon's disappeared immediately on the screen. But he just hates Elden Ring. Simon's just like, nah, I can't.
He can't deal with this.
Can't deal with this conversation. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Oh well, we've moved. I'm now Simon, and you are now Hamish.
Point. So I'm now Hamish. What is Hamish? I need to tell a really long but quite amusing story with like real like salt of the earth, like actual stuff, which is great.
Go on, Hamish. Go on, Hamish. Tell me about your.
Well, I can't do your accent. I can't do your voice. What even is your voice? It's just like generic Midlands. British man.
Well, you don't have to. We're back.
Oh, thank God. That was close. I was going to have to.
As soon as you stop talking about Elden Ring, I'm back.
Yeah, I know. You just like return.
There we go. I was going to try and do your voice. So, hi.
Is that Simon's voice?
No, it's Trip. I'm Trip.
You were Simon, right?
No.
There was no. You were in Simon's spot, so you can't do it.
Okay.
Hamish, if you can't, you need to do my voice. You need to not let me interrupt you. You need to just keep talking and never stop talking, so that you never can get a word in edgeways whenever we're doing the podcast. Because I don't know what you guys think about this, but I've got some really strong opinions that I want to share. But I'm just saying that maybe if I just keep going, then it'll be my podcast. I'll just get to talk for the whole thing. It'll just be the Dan Trip podcast. That was like the podcast the other day where I didn't. Maybe that was a conspiracy just to not upload your audio, which is fine.
For God's sake, shut up!
Anyway.
Right, so let's get cracking on. Because and then we'll do our bits, and then we'll do home news, Elden Ring special, Flesh and Blood. Right, so let's start off with our partners. And the Wheel of Time.
Oh, going straight in with the partners.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah,
Wheel of Time going straight in with Wheel of Time. Well, can we get the Wheel of Time? And the winner this episode of 6 packs of what product is it, Simon?
3 of Everfest and 3 of Crucible.
Oh, it is none other than Jack Raven, everybody.
Hey!
Congratulations, Jack.
Well done.
Long-time supporter of the podcast. I think we've had a couple of long-timers.
Supporter of the podcast.
Yeah, who are finally getting their packs. These newbies have been coming in and sniping them now. It's luck of the draw.
Poor chap didn't even get to come to Nationals either.
No, which is a shame. But I hope you're doing all right, Jack, and we'll be sending you some packs very soon. But why do patron? Why be push the point patron? Why? What are the benefits?
Why Patreon?
Why push your patron pounds to push the point?
That's good.
Podcast.
That's actually good. I like that. So,
yeah. Okay.
So we've got 3 good reasons why. Oh, 4 good reasons why.
And 3 good reasons, and they're looking right at you. It's really
So we've got Thistle Tavern, a Scottish single seller from the Aberdeens. I'm going to keep it like that. It is the Aberdeens.
He's going to keep it.
I'm going to keep it.
I'm
double down on it. Right? They've actually just recently opened up a store, but if you're a Push the Point patron, you get 10% off your orders for singles from multiple different card games, from Arcana, One Piece, Flesh and Blood, whatever's on their site. And so 10% off on all your orders. You've also got Metal Fab Tokens, which is an awesome token seller for lots of different games as well. I have a load of Metal Tokens behind me that I can help push out to the UK and EU for Royal Mail prices. And we also have PCG, Say the Bit Trip.
Do I start? How much does it cost to be a Push the Point patron, Hamish?
It's free.
What? £3?
No, Trip, it's free because every time.
What?
Because every time Every
You're
month.
having a laugh.
Every month you get your subscription that you pledge to us, either £3 or £5 or £10, that gets put away once a month, and you can spend it once a quarter to go into stuff. It does sound a bit complicated,
simple.
but it's simple.
As we discussed with Sharif in the taxi, it's simple. That taxi driver must be like, what the hell are these guys talking about?
All you need to know is that if you go to PCG and tell them you're a Push the Point patron, you'll get a discount code and it will be correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Why
it.
not?
But if you can stack it up, obviously, if you're just joined and you're £3 patron, you can use it straight away if you want, but you only get £3 off. But if you leave it for 3 months, which is a quarter, then you get £9 off, and then it resets every month.
That's called delayed gratification.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
Anyway, my gratification has been delayed long enough because I'm keen to try a little gift, a little present,
yes,
that we all three of us received at Nationals.
Absolutely. Also, as well, just on the fourth reason, you get 6 packs put onto our Wheel of Time.
They got that one.
They get that one. Anyway, let's go, Simon.
What are you drinking?
Hamish, what are you drinking?
Oh no,
it's me. Simon has to start. So I've got a Brewdog Lost. I got that.
Oh,
that was.
Did you not get the memo?
You forgot.
I forgot.
You forgot, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. Look, it's been. Look, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Joe. Okay, I did forget the memo.
How hard is it? How hard is it?
Well, it was.
I mean,
look, it's been Elden Ring.
Send you a message to say don't forget
episodes.
the beer.
When you said don't forget the beer, I was like, okay. Well, I've got it ready. I was like, no, I've got it in the fridge.
He's drunk it. I guarantee he's drunk it.
Promise you I haven't.
Okay, save it for next time.
Yes.
It won't be a surprise.
It won't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got I like it. The Brewdog Lost. I was like, well, what's wrong with Brewdog Lost? is Brewdog done something else and Simon's fell out with them again?
I can't believe we couldn't even do.
No, I'm sorry, Joe. It's been Elden Ring week, right? My brain has been fried. Simon, what are you drinking?
Should we try again? So this is a lovely gift from one of our patrons, Joe, who came up to us all at Nationals.
He did, out of the goodness of his heart.
and made a point of giving us.
He said his one dream.
It's a Northern Monk apple and custard, apple strudel and custard pale ale. That's the one I've got anyway. It's 4.5%. Northern Monk are a Leeds-based brewery, which obviously we weren't in Leeds, we were in Liverpool, but Living Realms are Leeds-based, and they were running the event, so there's a link there as well.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, reaching, sure. And
thanks, Joe, for your incredibly generous gift of a beer, specifically for this episode of the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Yeah, Joe, you're a legend. And Trip,
I think I remember him saying how happy he was that we'd all be drinking the same beer at the same time on episode 76.
Well, actually,
it's weird that he specified this exact episode number.
It is weird. It is weird. But
at
the same time, I like to think of this as like an extended birthday. When you get a gift and then you guys are probably going to like this, and then next week you get to see the thing of whether I like it or not. There. Yeah, you see.
Well, Trip, what are you drinking today?
I'm drinking none other than the finest Yellow Label apple strudel and custard.
See,
so Simon did a good job of hiding. Did you see that? He tried to hide it. I appreciate a good bargain. A 99p can.
What does it say?
It says too good to waste.
It's too good.
You know what? It was too good to waste. I mean, I haven't tried it yet.
How do you know?
I reckon it's good. I am also a big fan of Northern Monk. I've got a Northern Monk.
On the nose, I'm getting sweet apple sauce. Definitely apple strudel.
Well, I need to pour mine. I've got a glass, mate.
Oh, wow.
Quite buttery. Apple and buttery.
Oh, buttery beer.
You guys are going to... I actually said to Joe, thank you, Joe, but I actually did say that you guys are going to love it, and you're going to enjoy seeing me hate it. Because I already can tell I'm not going to like this.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Joe. Yes, thanks
Joe.
Cheers, Joe.
Smells like apple strudel.
So, Joe, what do you know?
That is very sweet.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
oh,
is like applesauce and beer.
Is it nice?
It tastes like those apple and custard boiled sweets. Do you know what I mean?
No.
it's all right. It does
The
taste a
green
bit
and
like
yellow sweets.
it's not very beery.
Will I like it?
Mm.
I think it's probably too sweet for you.
I think you. No, I think you will because it's not too beery.
Too beery.
Hamish likes beer that doesn't really taste like beer. Got a Bud
What?
Light in the hotel.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Well, that's because there wasn't really much options. I'm not.
Yeah, that's fair. That wasn't a lot.
He did have an Asahi at the
Also,
ramen
it was
place.
a bloody hot day, so actually sometimes a
Yeah.
light beer when it's boiling hot is actually quite nice.
It was a choice of Bud Light or Stella, and I'm like,
Yeah, I rate Stella. I quite like it.
nah, I
Yeah.
don't.
Stella can be a bit heavy sometimes. Though.
I know it's quite strong. It's a strong beer, Stella.
Gives me a headache, and suddenly a white vest topic gets thrown on, and
Yeah, it's weird.
Away we
It's
go.
Larry.
Yeah, it gets
Clay
very
runs for
Larry.
cover.
You should have seen him down the streets of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
Anyway,
that's
that's
another story.
That's a story for another time.
Well, we're trying to
what
find.
did we do?
What did I say? Oh, it's the naughty club.
Yeah.
And then you went, that doesn't say, that's not naughty, it's Navy. Whoa.
It was the Navy Club. It was actually the Navy Club. So
Yeah, I was up for it. I was up for it. Anyway,
Simon
need a bit
got
of
us
home
lost on the way home. A little bit of home news.
yeah, let's
Ooh.
do some home news. Simon,
What's your home news, Simon?
So I did my first barbecue of the year yesterday, and I was eating leftovers all day today.
Oh,
It
lovely.
was fantastic.
okay.
I think the jewel in the crown is I homemade Scotch eggs and smoked them on the barbecue.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Tasty.
They were pretty epic.
That's tasty.
Simon, I've been to your house, and I've seen your irrigation system. I can tell that you're an absolute dork, and you have got this mad as shit like barbecue, and you're going to be coming in with all these theories.
I have a very simple Weber kettle barbecue. I just know how to use it.
Yeah, but have you got like a thermometer?
A thumb.
I do actually have a meter thermometer. Yes.
I knew
You
you
have a
would.
meter.
Yeah.
A meter. 1 meter.
No, a meter. It's a play on words because it's a thermometer that you use on meat.
Oh, I thought you were saying
It's
it was
the
a
brand.
meter long.
It's
I was
the
like, why
brand.
do you need such a long thermometer?
Trick,
Can I
you look-
just chuck a?
Oh, go on.
I'm just going to chuck a tiny sliver of Gardener's Corner in here
Oh,
because
go for it.
No,
mate.
go for it, because I've got some Gardener's Corner.
I've got some
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Bloody
okay.
hell.
Oh, Gardener's Corner.
This weekend-
Dun-dun-dun.
Good job there's barely any fab to talk about, eh?
I know
Ooh.
this weekend I planted out a blueberry bush
Oh,
and a
mate.
tayberry bush.
You
Now,
wait my
if
turn.
you don't know what a tayberry bush is, a tayberry is a hybrid of a blackberry and a raspberry. Very
Ooh.
tasty. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you're aware, Trip, but a blueberry bush, you were talking about blueberries recently.
Yeah.
A blueberry bush requires ericaceous soil.
It does.
So I had to buy some ericaceous compost and plant it out specifically in a pot with ericaceous compost.
Also, you tend to need more than one bush because you need
Pollinate.
cross-pollination between
Ah, I see.
bushes.
God, I'm so sad. Like, I literally just did a Simon then. I was just like, couldn't laugh. I couldn't help
But
it.
to jump
You
in,
need
we've
more
only
than
got
one
one.
bush.
We've only got one bush at the moment. But for the first time in 3 years, we have actually got blueberries growing on it, and I think
Yeah.
it's because I pruned it. I pruned the bush
Ooh, yeah.
earlier this year, and now it's gone out real nice. So just a little bit of advice out there.
Now, do you know what's different about ericaceous soil and why
Prune
it's
your
called
bush.
ericaceous soil?
Isn't it acidic?
Oh.
It is acidic rather than alkali, correct?
Yeah.
Normal compost is quite alkali. Ericaceous,
Yeah.
so named because
Of our
plants in
ericaceae.
the family Ericaceae enjoy that type of soil. So there you go, everyone.
There you go,
now
everyone.
you know. Hamish,
Oh,
what was
right.
your
Sorry.
Gardener's Corner contribution?
God, right. Well, I ain't got no facts. I tell you what, my friend Dale will love you, right? And he does listen to our podcast, and he doesn't play Flesh and Blood. And I said, you'll get on so well with Simon, because seriously, you just jabber on so much shit sometimes. But it's brilliant facts, and I do like it. But you know when someone like you, I don't. Anyway, right. So I have I've extended it out now. So my other planter has now got we've got some strawberries
Can't
growing
wait to
in
see
there.
these planters.
We've got some strawberries now growing in there. I bought some plant pots. Right, dude. Right, amazing bargain. There was 75% off on pots in our local garden centre, and they were like really, they were like £60, like £80 pots, right? 75% off on everyone on all these pallets. So I went and grabbed like 6, and some of them were like a tenner and stuff like that. I was like, £2 for this. It's nuts. So the whole thing came to like 28 quid. I was like, Jesus, it's cheaper than one of these pots. I know. So I got a load of them. So we banged loads of soil in there, and got loads of different plants in there, like lavender and whatnot, and a raspberry bush in one of the pots as well. So
yeah, good choice.
Yeah, so I've got the feeder. I've never used a feeder before. Put some feeder in the water and water it and all that for the strawberries and the raspberries. And my son killed one of the sunflowers with a football.
Oh, took the head off.
Classic.
It literally just landed on it, snapped the whole stem bit. So you ban football in the garden now because I've literally said, look,
No fun allowed.
Well, I did thought
these plants are too important now.
Get back on Fortnite. Don't.
No, he doesn't play Fortnite now. He's 14, so it's Call of Duty. So
Call of Duty or what's the other one? Anyway,
yeah. So that's my.
Get back to your video games. Get back indoors.
So I've been. I know. I just said, look, it's a whole field, right? Our garden is not football worthy anymore. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've been really enjoying it, and now me and my wife are going to be looking at each plant and working out the routine system of what they need, so we can sort of properly look after them. And now I'm turning into an old man. Trip, quick. Is there? Have you already said your bit with the blueberry bush?
I've got some home news, I guess. So I guess I could do some. Well, I said I got some blueberries, which is pretty sick. Also got my strawberries. My tomatoes are doing very well. Home news. Obviously, we went to nationals. We'll talk about that in a second.
Well, yeah.
But I played I didn't DM. I was the keeper in my first game of Call of Cthulhu on Sunday, which was very cool. So if anyone is into role-playing games, I started playing Call of Cthulhu with my with Kate, my sister, and her fiance, and it was very good. It's very spooky, so I recommend it to anybody that wants to give it a go. The starter set for Call of Cthulhu is real good, so I would recommend that to people who like role-playing games.
Yeah. So, is there any home news for you, Simon?
Just a barbecue and
the bush.
And the bushes, yeah. Been fiddling with
bushes. I didn't do the thing. Home news. Home news.
Oh, it's better late than never.
Oh, whatever. Yeah. So my home news has been mostly Elden Ring.
Ooh.
The new DLC.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah,
I forgot a lot of Elden Ring.
So the new DLC, the new DLC has dropped. I literally finished nationals, and I then realised as I booted the game up, because I got it on the PC and I got it on the Xbox. My PC was literally, I did it all on this seamless co-op mod with my friends, but the save file doesn't transfer to the Steam files. So basically, I have a 0 level character, and I went, there's no way I'm like doing a full restart. My Xbox, though, I did it on that, the original one. I completed the game solo on that. I'll just jump on there. Turned it on, and I just went, oh no. I literally just slapped New Game Plus before I left it for 2 years on my Xbox. What am I going to do? So I spent Monday, I was actually shocked. I completed and got to the DLC in 3 hours. I sent a clip to Trip.
Which is pretty good.
I was nuts.
That's pretty speedy.
Yeah, it was fast. I still had all my equipment because it was New Game Plus.
Yeah.
But I felt like that scene from Monty Python when I'm just running through castles going, ha! Just hitting people. And they're like, oh, hi, die! It's like, oh,
you can play through the game really fast if you know what you're doing.
Yes.
And you just go beeline. It's really quite fun.
Yeah,
to play it that way.
It's like, look at this immersive world. I don't care. Next boss.
Yeah.
So I literally just destroyed 5 bosses, got to the DLC, and now spent the entire week doing that. Trip, I've got a question, and I know you don't want to
question me. I'm not going to spoil. We're not going to spoil anything.
No spoilers.
We both played it through pretty much all the way through now. Me and Hamish.
What is your favorite boss in a description?
That is a great question.
All right, give me two. Give
I
me two
think
if you
the
got if you're struggling.
well, no, I think the most interesting, my favorite boss was the magic lady, sword lady.
Ah, yeah. To be honest, I don't think that's actually.
That's
I think
very early on,
I
but
think you
I
can
think that
say
was
that.
I really liked her. I think the lore is really interesting if
Yeah.
you care about the lore, and I think that the boss fight was very fun and fair. Some of the
Yeah.
bosses are not necessarily
No,
fair.
no.
Also, my character is a mage. I was playing my mage character, which meant that the boss I think was a lot harder than it probably would have been normally because I think they were really resistant to magic. So it was really fun because it wasn't doing too much damage and it was quite a fun fight.
Yeah.
And it was fun to like fight a mage as a mage. But I think that's definitely my favorite boss. In the DLC. It's a very enjoy. I think I didn't find the bosses to be. I think just the world, the way they've constructed the world, and the verticality is really cool. Like there's lots of up and down, which there's a little bit of like moving up and down in the base game of Elden Ring, but Elden Ring felt very wide. This game feels like very tall and deep, like which I really quite
It
like.
was very.
Like they
It's
packed a
very.
lot in a small space, which is really
Yeah.
cool.
It felt like you know when you played Dark Souls 1 and it was like, oh, look at all
Yeah.
these layers and you're like, oh, I didn't know you could get down there through this. Like, how do I get down there? It's like one big dungeon. But there is but I will say that the only thing I'm hoping they just sort of refined their open world space bit a bit better because there's a lot of like look how pointless this area is. It's like, yeah, you don't. I know the big field thing makes everything look kind of grandeur and stuff, but man, there's a lot of wasted space, and you could probably just pack things in a little bit better. Anyway,
Yeah.
So
I also don't think it's as hard as people say it's too hard. It's not too hard. People just don't use the tools that are available to them. Like if you use all the tools that the game gives you, the game is super easy.
Yeah.
Just people don't want to use summons and they don't want to use like the creatures the creatures you can summon. It's like or they don't want to use like overpowered weapons. It's like if the game gives you stuff, you can make the game really easy for you. So but people just don't want to do that. So anyway, I won't.
Yeah. No, I know.
Maybe I've just played a lot of Elden Ring, so didn't find it too
I
hard,
agree. I walked in going, oh, I think my weapon like might not be very good, and then I did a first couple. I did the first two bosses and did it on my second go, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, am I meant to tone things down a bit because this seems a bit easy at this point? And now I'm at the final boss, and
Final boss is very hard.
That's crazy.
Maybe too hard. Maybe the final boss is a little bit too hard.
I'll end this. My favorite boss was the dragon on top of the mountain.
Yeah.
That was
And mainly because of Igon, the dude.
Yeah.
The shout man. Oh my god, he's the coolest guy. He just shouts.
Bam! Yeah, that's
incredible.
that guy's awesome. But no, I actually think he's the best boss they've ever made. Like ever made. Everything about him is enriched in lore. There's so much. He literally answers so many questions about like the dragon stuff in Elden Ring, and then his whole get up looks amazing. And then when he goes into second phase, I'm like, this is just.
I think
even at the end when you kill him, you sort of just go, is he gonna do a move that I just die at the end? Like every bit about it just made you think, oh my god. There's so much going on. Like it was even more.
Yeah.
It was even more so than the end boss. It's just things are going on. Things are going on. Anyway, that's Elden
we
Ring.
could talk about this for hours, but we won't.
We won't. We're going to move on. It
need
is
to talk
now
about
flesh.
and Blood.
It's now Flesh and Blood. I think we did pretty well. 20 minutes in, and we're Flesh and Blood time.
Only been 20 minutes. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Simon keeps phasing in and out of existence because of Elden Ring. Right.
I'm back. Wow. Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Okay.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
Nationals.
Well, I know that.
I think
but
it's nationals, isn't it? Like
I like to ask Simon regardless.
We've had national season.
Well, it's still going. It is still
going. We've got one more weekend, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had. There's been multiple, but the ones that I note was is it Taiwan, Germany, New Zealand, Australia. They were the ones that I saw had a live stream. I'm sure there was more going on as well.
They were this weekend just gone, and then the weekend before was UK.
Yeah.
Who else was on the same weekend? I didn't even clock that.
What, last week? I don't know. I tell you what, last week I didn't even know what was going on.
It's all a bit of a blur, isn't it?
Yeah. YouTube's going to notice that Simon has frozen in place, but it's fine.
Again?
Yeah.
You've got a good pose though. Like you wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't know. Apart from
It's
you
a
look
good
like
look,
a
actually.
ventriloquist. But yeah, so it's been national season. Zen. Well, okay. Should we just talk about ours, right?
Let's talk about ours.
Let's talk about ours. Wow, we didn't. There's nothing to talk about. It wasn't cursed.
There's no.
That's a first.
controversy.
No,
Some of the stuff that people were coming up with, like the gossip and the chat that was vaguely drama, was so like pathetic.
Which
and it was
one?
like
Yeah.
it was
Like
like
what?
I'm not gonna deign to repeat.
Why?
You know, the little side chats, the little like snide criticisms that people were like saying like, ooh, blah blah blah. It was just, you could tell that people were scared. They were like, why is there no drama? We need to think of something that was like vaguely sharkish or vaguely like bad. And it's just like, no, it's just a good tournament where everyone played pretty well. There wasn't any real drama. There was like, you know, some like saltiness maybe here and there, but it was pretty wrapped up. And I think we ended up with like a really fun tournament. Like, that's the impression I got.
The biggest drama was draft number 1.
Yeah, that was rubbish.
What was wrong with draft number 1?
What was not what?
It was
that was my
delayed by
favorite
about-
draft of all time.
yeah,
I had
okay.
a great time.
You
You've
did
got
all right.
different reasons.
I
But
just
the draft-
mastered the draft.
No,
at that
okay.
point.
Talking
draft
about
is-
our results.
I went into my mind palace and I sat. It all lined up.
Well-
I don't know what I did to the other 7 players, but I just a gamer.
Did
right?
you give him a
Just-
sticker or something? So if you don't pick Ninja, you'll get a push the point sticker.
I gave everyone 20 quid at the start of the draft.
So for the context, everyone, if anyone doesn't know, Trip was the only Zen in his pod, and I was like, well, then,
Yeah.
And then
Gaming.
someone writ on your deck list.
Yeah, someone wrote easiest draft of your life on the deck registration list that they filled out for. It was someone I think I did recognize the name, but I was just like, and you know that the feeling where like everyone's like in the pod and they were like, what the hell just happened? And I'm just there looking at my cards and I'm just like, what happened?
Yeah.
I got every ninja card in the box, right? Like, apart from like a couple that I think people had to take, but nobody drafted ninja, and I just had this insane deck.
Well, apart from our results, I 0-3'd. I played Enigma on the draft 1, didn't do very well. Simon, you?
I 1-2 the first draft, 0-2 dropped the second draft.
So you 1-2 draft 1 and 0-2 second draft, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I apologise, everyone. We got for the YouTube the camera. Simon's camera.
You might have to go camera.
I have
off,
no
so
idea what's going on to my camera.
Just go
right now.
audio.
It's really
We'll
annoying.
we'll Photoshop a picture of yourself.
Well, we've all changed places as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Just,
It's the look. We're really living the wheel of names this episode. We're wheeling around.
The wheel of time.
Yeah. So our draft
Anyway,
and our performances didn't do very well, but the draft itself, like the organisation. Like,
I did well.
Well, no, it's not about you, Trip.
I just want to remind people that I did really well.
It wasn't the organisation of the draft. It was the enactment of the draft by the players.
Yeah.
No one. There was 3 or 4 incidents where people took multiple cards or didn't take a card,
or
and
put a chi in the
set
token
whole
pile.
draft- It set the whole draft back by about 25 minutes, and it was really frustrating from a group of players that probably should know better. But that being said, how did you feel the event was overall, gents?
It was great. I had a great time.
Yeah, no, the apart from that draft was organised. Draft was organised a bit different, and the players weren't for some reason getting it. But
can I defend the players before we move on? Like, if we're going to talk about the draft.
Go on.
I just wanted to say, I think it's because we weren't we were told not to count out the
not to fan
packs,
out the cards.
not to fan out the cards, because so basically the reason normally in a draft at that level you fan out the cards and you can be like, okay, there's 9 cards there, and you can easily see there's 9 cards there. But we were told not to do that because they would worry that it would show that there's a chi. But we had a chat about this, and we were basically all saying to ourselves, like, who cares? Like, that should just be part of the draft, this draft format, that you can see that someone hasn't drafted a chi, or you can see that there's a chi coming. Like, just make that part of the draft. And I've always been a bit of a like, why are we fanning out cards? Like, what's the point of this? But I think this draft kind of showed me, oh, actually, that means that if someone does take too many cards, you immediately spot it. And the trouble is we weren't spotting it until a little bit after the fact, and then it was really hard to fix. So I think it wasn't really the players' fault. Maybe it's a little bit the players' fault. I don't think it was the tournament organizers' fault. I think it was just like whatever guidance had been given. I think like just always fan out the cards. If there's double face cards, that's just part of the format, and you can just see.
I think in terms of the organization and stuff, there was I think they just tried out a new way of doing things. Like, and it's not. I don't think it was anyone like because we've proven that we can really do it. And I think let's just try and mix the recipe up a little bit. And this should be better. And it wasn't. It wasn't better. Yeah. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't better than what we normally have always known it to be.
Do you know
that
what?
was and I fed that back to one of the judges, and said that I think you've made some changes to, in theory, it would have worked out better, but it really didn't make it better. And I think you tried to get players to do some of the work to make your lives a lot easier. But actually, when you got to herd 160 monkey sheep around the venue to make it easier for you guys, that actually isn't easier. You know when you try and get your kid to tidy up the room, because that's one job you don't have to do. But somehow it's now harder because they're doing it. But if you just do it, it will get done and it will get done right. So that was my sort of analogy.
You know what was really different? I really don't know what's going on with my camera.
Yeah.
What was really different was there was no PA system. There was no loudspeaker.
I don't know if that would have made a difference.
Whoa. And there was not for the draft, I just mean for the whole event. And there was no tournament organizer specific role. Like normally when LR events run an event, Jake does the TO role.
That's true.
Right? And he wasn't there. And he wasn't there, and there wasn't an announcer. So whenever there was a new round announced and pairings, it had to sort of filter out. It was whispered around the room rather than like one big announcement. And I think it just had knock-on effects throughout the weekend. Like I didn't realize at the time, and then afterwards someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, that's fair."
Like, that was
that's fair.
I think we're reaching as well. I mean, that was it.
Yeah,
because there wasn't really any major dramas.
I'm not criticizing.
You're just
like
pointing
a good
out.
Event.
Yeah, pointing out what could have been better. I don't think it's a criticism. It's just saying because I think it was run quite well. So you have to think of what could have been better. Those small things.
Yeah, no, it's living realm events. They're always run really well. And this one, it was just the first time I've felt like, you know what? This was still a better event than most of the events I've ever been to. But it wasn't as good as the other events you've done before. Does that make sense? Like, it was still better than what I've seen.
I actually quite like the venue. I really like the room.
No, I don't.
I really liked it. I love the balcony.
I was a big fan of the room.
I liked the balcony.
I really did.
But
natural light was great. Being able to go outside mid-round was great. Getting fresh air was great. I actually was a big fan of it. I'd like to know. I had a quick chat with some of the casters. I'd like to know what it was like casting that close to the tables and whether they were picking up.
Well, no, they weren't close. They were actually not near the streaming table. They were near.
They were near the. That's what I mean. They were near the play. When I say the players, I mean us, the people, the majority of the players, because they were basically in the same room as all of us. And I was wondering, I didn't watch the stream because obviously we were playing. I watched a little bit. I didn't think I could hear any audio being picked up much. So good job to Tabletop 24 guys.
I wasn't on any tables that high, so
I was on table 1, round 1, and then that went downhill from there. But I would defend that room. I like to be able. I think it was a good space. I know maybe some people didn't like it personally. I really liked it actually. just being able to step outside felt really refreshing. There was a little tuck shop like downstairs, really close, where you could get tea, coffee, like chocolate bars, like quick snacks. That was great. I think I preferred it. Like it was quite close. I think I'll be honest. I think I understand why. I think maybe it wasn't enough space for that many vendors. We had 3 vendors in that room, and like it's great that we get so many vendors at nationals, and it's great that they can get money from having vendors. I'm sure the vendors pay to be in the room, but it did mean there was not really that much space because we had so many vendors, and maybe that was a bit too much. But I don't want to. Don't get me wrong. I don't. I think it'd be better to find a space that would make room for all the vendors that want to vend at the tournament, and they do a great job because I love looking at those cards and I love seeing what they've got. But I think that ate up a lot of space, especially like the channels were a bit weird. There'd be these massive little bushes that were just in the worst possible space. I don't know. I just down one of the sides of these massive artificial bushes, which really didn't need to be in the room. If you'd moved them out of the way, it would have been better. But I don't know. Like there's criticisms, but I like the room. I like natural light as well, so I prefer being able to see.
I don't like. I just don't want it to be in Liverpool. I
prefer it to not be in Liverpool.
No,
Liverpool
is so expensive. The best place they've done it was Leeds when we
bring it back to Leeds.
Last year's Leeds, and we all went in that hotel, and the venue was literally next door. That was awesome, and they sold beer, and they had snacks, and there was toilets right nearby. It was great.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really like Liverpool. I like the city.
The city's lovely.
We've had good meals and good food, but
it's expensive.
Two times in 1 year, right? Like it just I'd like to go somewhere different. Like I like to go to new places, and it's really expensive hotel wise.
Mm-hmm.
And the venue is great. I love the venue, but that's because my hotel was literally next door to it, and for most people, it's quite a ways to get the hotel next door.
That hotel's spenny, mate.
It wasn't. It was basically only like £30 a night more expensive than the Premier. But then I did book it very late, so that's probably why. Anyway, like it was great. Like we're picking it. We're really searching here because like personally I thought.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on. Like organisation's one thing. Let's talk meta right for a little bit. So
we talk about our new video, which has been out for a few days by now, with none other than Thistle Tavern's Andrew Rayner.
Yeah,
I know. Top 4 with Riptide.
Crazy. The guy actually... Well, let's just say that Andrew Rayner did... he picked that deck up days before the event, and it was his team of Scottish friends that actually put that all together. So he's not going to take full credit of his brainchild. He was a formidable pilot to a deck that has been constructed by the Scottish meta. So just wanted to point that out so people, because these guys worked really hard on it. So I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, Riptide in the top 4, absolutely nuts. Was the meta in the top 8, Simon, what you expected? Or was there a couple of surprises?
Yeah. I mean, yes, mostly. We said on the last episode we expected somewhere between 25 and 30 Zen, which we got. I think there were 29 Zen.
Yeah, 29.
Yeah, but Zen was high in representation.
And then next was KO. I think there was 16 KO. There was a few Prisms, a few Enigmas, a few News.
Yeah, there's a few of it. There was a few of everything, but seeing seeing Zen in the top.
So top 8, we had 2 Prisms, 3 Zens, a Dash, a Riptide, and one more. Anyway,
it was Zen's, Dash, Riptide.
It was pretty.
I can't remember.
It was pretty much what I was thinking, apart from maybe Riptide.
To be fair, the dash
was
got
a surprise.
Me. Yeah,
because that dash list hasn't changed a lot in time, right? That's a pretty standard dash list, but it was played very, very well. I had the pleasure of watching that deck played on the Sunday in the last few CC rounds before top 8, and it was played very, very well.
Yeah.
The Prisms. So one of the Prisms. Big shout out to Jack Mountford, who I played round 2 we had a very close game, really, really good game, and he went on to get top 8. Matt Folks was the other Prism. Obviously, he felt very strongly about that deck and got.
I know.
Got top 8
I was like, oh man, is this guy going for the double win? Like, whoa! But sadly not. Took it out. He got took out in the semi-finals, and it ended up being a Zen versus Dash final with Kashi, who was the sub story of Worlds Barcelona, when the poor lad got got a DQ,
DQ'd.
yeah, because there was a whole price split mix up or whatever. Debacle, that's the word, yeah. So then he had a suspension for a couple of months, and he's back, and now he's in the final. And one of the team sigils, I tell you what, terrible. I've literally forgot the guy's name.
What?
No.
Well, the top 8 was Kashi, Anton, Matt Folks, Andrew Rayner, Jack Mountfort, Noah Hicks, Jake Warburton, and Ashkan.
Was it Anton on Dash?
Anton was playing Dash.
Yeah. Anton was on Dash.
Yeah, so it was Anton.
I do apologise.
Yeah, it was Anton who's from Team Sigil on Dash versus Kashi. And Kashi is our new UK champion. Yeah. I know. What a comeback story.
I just want to say apologies to Noah Hicks. Obviously, Noah was playing Kano.
Yeah.
And he was the final top 8 place. But Kashi, I mean, long-time player of the game. He's been around since the early days. I remember the first time I actually played Kashi was during the Chain Starvo meta.
Yeah.
And I played him at EH Gaming, and he came out with Bolton. You'll have been proud of him.
Oh, yeah, good lad.
He was playing Bolton. I played Chain into him, and he went fatigue on me, and I wasn't expecting that at all. He completely fatigued me.
Oh, yeah, he's a really good player. He is a really good player.
Anyone that's a big fan of Baz the Bard's like meta breakdowns, like Kashi and Ashkan are two of the names that pop up, a lot on that in their local metas in terms of like regularly winning tournaments. Like it does show like the best players even at a mixed format event with draft and CC still rise to top. Like, I mean, we're looking at its top 8. We've got Matt Fox, Kashi, Ashkan, Jake the Bait, Warburton, classic new push to point patron. I should also add.
He's good old Jake.
And Andrew Rayner, he's I think Andrew's really good.
Yeah, he's actually really low key, pretty good.
And not just flesh and blood. I think he's a really good a lot of TCGs. So I think it was he's always imagine that, finding the time to set up your own
open
card
a new
game
store and get top 4.
And then top 8, top 4 with But
he always sits at the top. Even last year's like Nats, he's sitting on the top. And when we went to Utrecht, like I fought him in like round 5 in that top 8 in Utrecht in the Battle Harden. He's this guy literally does sit at the top quite a lot. I honestly, the UK list of like great players is growing ever so much every single time.
And George Roger was 9th. He bubbled. Previous
again.
Previous national champion. Not last national champion was Alex Kittu, and then we had George Roger year 2. So George Roger on 9th, and Matt Fox first UK national champion sitting there 3rd, 4th. The UK scene, it's like we've got these consistently good players, but we've also got new players coming in and breaking into the top 8. That's exciting.
That's an interesting thought, actually. That the 3 previous UK champions, one of them got into the top 8, Matt Fox, and then George Roger 9th, and then Alex Kitsu 11th. These guys really prove that they are
solid.
They prove really are why they are the UK champions, because they are all on the top 16 table, like sitting there. They've all got a world championship invite. So even though that, only one of them got into the top 8, and a lot of people only look at the top 8, still that's incredibly impressive.
Should we talk a little bit about the breakdown of the top 8? Like we touched on it, but like we got 3 Zen, we got 2 Prism, then we got a Kano, Riptide, and Dash. Like I think that kind of distribution is quite. I mean, the two Prism, the three Zen, that feels pretty standard. Kano, I think we're all saying Kano is going to be up there. I think obviously the two standouts there are Riptide and Dash. Like I think Riptide was a great meta pick by. And they had game, and they seemingly had game into more than just Zen. Like I think that's fair to say. Like did really well.
I think that if we take a step back and looked at all the other metas that happen across, I think all of them apart from Riptide were actually, encompassed. Right. I think they're about right. Like Dash wasn't when I've looked at Dash taking. I think Dash took the Australian the Australians. No, New Zealand. Dash won New Zealand again, and I'm starting to see this picture now. I'm thinking actually Dash is probably looking like one of the, and it probably always was, and we just didn't give it that much credit. But Riptide was our weird deck, right? Was that one that goes, what's this doing here? And that's really cool. But I think the rest of it, it does kind of encompass what the meta really is. And
this was this is a 140 player plus national championship, right? I think the UK national champion is one of the biggest now. We're up there. Obviously we're not on the level of the American national championship, but this is one of the massive ones. Like there is a real difference sometimes, like stark difference between nationals in terms of like how many players, like even somewhere like Spain, like a really big Fab country with Sunflower Samurais and some of the best players, they're still looking. I think they're around 100 players, so like 80 to 100 players. So we're getting really big numbers for UK national championship. So it is a good indicator, I think, of especially the CC meta, because I think UK players are quite tuned in to building a strong meta contender, especially with some of the Discord groups and teams that are out there, like the testing groups are quite well established. We've got
Team Sigil
teams and Team Sigil. We've got Team Toxic. Team Toxic seems like more like a gathering of minds. If that makes it sound way more sophisticated than it is, I'm not part of that Discord, so and have no desire to be. But no, I'm sure it's great fun. But it feels like a melting pot, right? Like it's almost not. It's like a clash, maybe a clashing of minds is maybe a better description of the way that works.
But there's other ones as well. You got the Scottish meta, which is called the Scottish meta, and then you got the North. You got like Rob Catton's group, and he's got an amalgamation of quite a couple of people from Nottingham and mostly the North. So I do agree. The UK is actually a decent hotbed of making it some good takes, and they actually do sometimes come up with some like attack the meta takes as well. So the UK is done really well. I think overall, really looking at across all the top 8 meta breakdowns from all the nationals, it's clear to say that Zen is the guy to beat, right? I think we all knew that.
Yeah, I think that's realistic, right? But he's not on the Starvo level.
No, and he's not even on the Lexi level. Yeah, but he's not even on the Lexi level. And I remember we were looking at Lexi going like, oh, but it's not as bad as Starvo. It's not as bad as Chain. It's like, it's still crazy. And it's relative, isn't it? Like the power level drops, but the one that's still at the top, even though he's not as strong as Starvo, it's the gap between him and the guys trying to get... It's the gap that matters. So even if you got like 3 or 4 other decks, and let's just say they're all as strong as Starvo, right? But you actually still had 3 or 4 decks that were in close contention. That even though the power level's risen, it doesn't feel as stark, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that make it's just the gap between Zen and some of the other heroes does feel a bit absurd.
I don't think it's as bad. Like I think actually, when I'm looking at the other sort of 80 plus nationals top 8s that I have access to here, we're looking at like Brazil. We've got a top. We've got Enigma winning that tournament.
Oh, okay.
New in second place. When we look at Spain, we've got KO. I think it was quite notable that we didn't get a KO in our top 8. I think that was quite interesting. Spain also had a Riptide in the top 4, which was pretty cool. and like a Levia sitting around there in the Spain one, and then second place in Brazil was new. I think some of these heroes
did they all
are
have
like
Zen?
emerging. They've all got a Zen, yeah. I
Yeah, and
mean,
that's my point.
Brazil only had the one, and I think Spain actually only had the one as well. And I think that showed how much people were
No,
teching against Zen and like
I
really fighting it. And that it kind of proves your point a bit, Hamish,
yeah.
that even the metas where there's maybe not a massive number of Zen in the top eight. I think a lot of the heroes where their routes to the top eight was from targeting Zen and trying to build decks that could feed off the large number of Zens.
That's it. So I think Zen that's not hot take, that's old news. But I think, like you said, the rest of the meta was it's kind of weird. This is the thing what I'm finding actually quite weird is the rest of the meta is kind of can you actually put your finger on it? Like compared to the other ones, if that makes sense. And it feels kind of like the same stuff when Heavy Hitters was about, when KO is the best deck, and then all the other ones are kind of going like, sure. And this is what it kind of feels like this time round again, where Zen is the best deck. It does feel a little bit more targeted this time round when you've got Prisms and potentially Azalea, potentially New. That does feel like it's going for Zen a bit more. But then you still get like some weird stuff going on where you're like, how are these like guys getting in? And who are they going for? Are they going for everyone other than Zen? Because they really like, for example, Enigma. Enigma is not a good hero against Zen. Zen is incredibly popular. Like, what's the strat? I did it, right? I took Enigma, but I tried to come up with a plan to deal with Zen. It's not the best one, but weirdly, the only reason I took Enigma is not because I think it's the best deck. It's just because it's the best deck I have access to. But I'm intrigued what other people are thinking when they're deciding not to take Zen, the one that beats Zen.
And Zen is still breaking through, right? Like, you just gave some examples, but like Zen won the United Kingdom Nationals, Zen won the Philippines Nationals, Zen won the Belgium Nationals, and Philippines Zen was in first, second, and third, or third/fourth. So like this anti-Zen strat, it's working a bit, but it's definitely, I don't know what those percentages are in terms of like maybe you're getting yourself up to a 60-40 at best. If we are properly targeting Zen, because I think the thing about Zen is it can still beat a deck that's massively targeting it.
That's the problem.
Do some crazy stuff, right?
That's the gap.
So, like you're saying, Hamish, you're trying to identify. It's quite hard to identify at the moment the rest of the meta. What's the second and third decks? Because I think Zen has the ability to take down even its direct counters, even decks like New and decks that should on paper, like Azalea, even like decks on paper that should be really good into it. Sometimes those decks just get blown out of the tournament because they have a bad matchup.
On Zen is just so high, right? Like
the
ability of Zen to just have a god turn mid game and go, oh yeah, look, I've broken all my equipment now and I've got 7 cards at the start of my turn. Off we go.
It's kind of like
crazy,
but it's kind of like, is it like attack Kano? You know when Kano just goes, oh, I guess I just do my instance and you lose. And you go, oh,
it's not
okay.
Quite like that.
Well, you know what I mean? Because you've got these key cards show up and then you draw into Omega good key cards that just went, you know what I mean? And Kano could do that.
There's a lot more setup. There's a lot more setup, and you can see. I think if there's a like Simon just said, there's a high ceiling, and I think actually there was a great game on stream, which was the what we thought was the win and in for George Roger versus Isaac Murray, which is a Zen mirror in the final round of Swiss, and I think
that was back and forth as well.
Yeah, that shows like that shows there are levels to it, and that shows that there's more to it. You can play it on my level, right? And then there's another level. And I think it takes a lot away from those players But you got a point.
No,
I'll say you do have a point as well. There is an element of I've drawn the hand, right?
Yeah, and that's my point. Like Kano isn't an easy deck, right? But Kano can just do Kano things, and that's the terminology. Kano does Kano things, and I think Zen is like, I totally agree with you. He is a higher level of thinking. There's so much different strategies and lines you can go down. Sometimes Zen does Zen things, and you go,
yeah.
Okay, cool. There's nothing I could have done. Just the order of your deck was inevitable. And I guess there was just nothing I could do. And here's your stupid long chain. GG, bro. And
there's that meme, right? Where it's like, dumb guy, Unga Bunga.
Yeah, and
it goes up to the middle, and it's like, no, you need to have a great strategy, a great deck list.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there's Kano, which is also like, no, Unga Bunga is fun.
Yeah.
It's like they do the same thing.
It's the bell curve.
Does it really complicatedly, and Zen does it really less complicated. And everyone's like, no, you need to be more like this.
You need to pitch stack and
we do big number and happy.
Yeah, that's it. I would like to. We'll end this last 5 minutes off with there's a ban and restricted announcement coming up at the end of the week. It's on the 8th, I believe. So I think just as this podcast drops, we're recording this on Monday. Is it next week?
It's a week today, yeah.
All right, okay, cool. So this will drop on Friday. Right, bans. Is there going to be any bans?
No.
I agree. I don't believe there will be.
If there are any bans, they'll be related to stuff coming out in the next set. I don't think there will be any bans related.
I think they've already done that though. I think
so. Sorry, I should caveat that more. I don't think there will be any bans.
Okay.
If there are, I don't think they'll be related to the current meta. I think they'll be like, oh, we forgot about this, and maybe we need to do this before the new heroes come out in Rosetta.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think they're going to touch Zen. Because I think if you look at the top 8s and the heroes, I think LSS will just look at that and be like, it's a really varied meta. And I don't think...
Yeah, that's a thumbs up meta, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you actually look at the wins.
Yeah. That's kind of how they work. I just don't think they'll want to touch it before... I don't think we'll see anything big before Rosetta comes out.
I don't think... No, I just don't think... By the time... Like, let's break this down. When you look at all the nationals, nothing. It's not all Zen. I know Zen is the best deck in the format, and that's.
But he's not whitewashed it, right?
Yeah, he's not Starvoed this whole thing, right? You remember when it was a Starvo? It was everything was Starvo, and even then, which was wrong. They didn't really ban him, but they just went, let's live in legend this guy. If you looked at the national statistics, and I know a lot of people go, oh, yeah, but he's still too crazy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, right, you've got one event coming up, and that's the Pro Tour. Are they going to change anything based on the data that they have seen from all of nationals? The answer is no. There is a whole variety of different heroes getting into the top 8, different sort of strategies people can take on. The set's not that old, and I still think there is room and strategies that can tap into taking on Zen. I don't even think Zen has been worked out. No,
I was going to say, I think there's so much more to Zen.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to put bans on it. It doesn't make any sense. Pro Tour is so, that would define the meta. And by the time that's done, Rosetta will be out.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think they'll do anything before Pro Tour. I could see something happen after Pro Tour if there's something crazy gets built.
What's the point? If Rosetta's coming out, and it'll just change again, and that's what
it would just be if some deck comes out of Pro Tour that just turns out Zen was cracked and we didn't solve it in time. But I think I agree with you, Hamish. I do agree with you, Hamish. I think we all agreed.
There won't be any bans.
It doesn't feel like a Starvo meta. It doesn't feel like a chain meta.
How long? When was the last time we actually had I know that we had a ban. We had those 2 bans, but these were like preemptive bans, like a stubby. We call it the stubbies ban. Like, this is going to be silly. We can see it's going to be silly, so we're going to get rid of it before it gets silly. When was the last time
we've ever seen? I think.
Yeah, when we were actually retroactively banning cards to fix things. We're way. It feels like we're way past that now. Like, the set's out. We all go through it. Something gets figured out. New set comes out. Start again. And there's no retroactive quick fix because things have just gone insane. it's actually quite.
And I think now the way Living Legend works, like we're obviously talking about Classic Constructed. I don't even think we're going to see any bans in Blitz because I think they're just going to let Briar. Briar's clearly too good, but they're going to just let Briar Living Legend out.
You say that,
but Briar's the one who's risen to the top after lots of other people have Living Legended out, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's pretty good. Yeah, but they're not going to ban anything. Yeah, they're just going to let those heroes go out the meta because it's 500 Living Legend points. It's fine.
I like you say, Hamish. I think having this non-rotational card pool, and they've learned their lessons from previous power sets. Like they're not releasing those big hammer cards anymore, and it's really quite interesting to see how they're managing the interactions with previous cards as they go. And I think they're really finding a balance.
Well, it's interesting. Actually, the one, if you actually look through the banned list, suspended list, the history is Tales of Aria. If you look, every card in Tales of Aria was getting suspended and banned in some capacity because that set is
even
broken.
In Living Legend format.
Even in Living Legend format, they're banning a variety of elemental cards. It's broken. So yeah, I do think that this time round they probably are. And I agree with Trip. If they're going to do some preemptive bans, they're going to look at Rosetta and be like, "Oh boy, like." Here we go again. Elemental stuff are back, and that's when things can get a bit silly.
Do you think they'd ever bring anything back?
What?
Do you think they could bring back Ball Lightning?
No, that card is banned and should be banned because that card is.
It should be.
No, it is bad. That card's really.
Oh, what if?
No.
Okay, to finish it with a spicy take, I reckon they'll bring back Ball Lightning.
No, they won't. What they'll do is
reprint. Someone's got to do a spicy take on this podcast.
They'll bring back it and it'll call like small ball lightning. It'll be
Ball
called
Lightning's coming back.
No, they'll make another Ball Lightning, call it small Ball Lightning or something.
And it'll be a red, but it will only be 1 power.
No, that's terrible. I don't know, but. To be honest, maybe, who knows? Maybe,
is it? I reckon Ball Lightning's coming back. That's my prediction. That's my banless prediction.
Okay, guys.
Bring about Ball Lightning.
Comment below, is Ball Lightning coming back? Because it definitely shouldn't be.
If Ball Lightning comes back, you guys owe me a bit. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'll take that bet.
I'll take that.
If it doesn't come back, I'll buy one of you a bit.
You buy each of us a bit.
No, I'll buy each.
You're playing 2 for 1. You're getting double. You're getting 2 beers.
Alright, so if I win, I get 2 beers.
So we're both going to give you a beer, but if we win, you have to get me and Simon.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's fair. All right. Okay. Cool.
This next 2 ban lists. Wait, is there a ban list before Rosetta? Any ban list before Rosetta? Soon as Rosetta comes out, it's rescinded.
So you could just see, why did they not unban it when they banned Crown of Seeds?
Because they want maximum Twitter juice, don't they? They want to. Come on,
okay, that's true.
You gotta play the game. You gotta play the game.
That's true.
Think of the thumbnails, man. It'd be insane.
I wish they kept Crown of Seeds, although I immediately know that they shouldn't keep Crown of Seeds. But I wish
Crown of Seeds with that new
guy,
new one.
It'd be busted. I don't even care. I don't even care.
Guaranteed get 2. Picture blue. You get 1 might token. You get 1.
What's his name?
Too good.
What's his name again? Even the Earth Wizard,
Spuds McKenzie.
Even the Earth Wizard would go, I heal, and Crown of Seeds. No,
absolutely mad.
No, insane. Anyway,
let us know what you think is going to happen on the ban and restricted list. Bring back Plunder Run.
No. That'll actually make replay good.
Trip's delusional. Let's wrap it up.
No, just Ball Lightning.
Let's wrap up. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed
thanks for joining us.
Our journey to the lands between of Elden Ring to nationals and all sorts. And I hope you...
And before we wrap up, just huge thanks to everyone that said hi to us at nationals, patrons or not patrons, people that love the podcast. It's really nice to see a load of you at nationals. And thanks for supporting what we do.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.